Of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
On the news tonight, gunmen kidnapped more than 100 worshippers in coordinated attacks on 3 churches in Kaju local government area of Kaduna State. Oshogbo residents urged stakeholders in electricity generation and distribution to intervene over poor state of electricity supply. Nigerian Army dismisses reports alleging threats of mutiny by soldiers over salaries and allowances. On the foreign scene, 13 school pupils die in South Africa after minibus collides with lorry in Johannesburg. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Okwayamuni. Gunmen have carried out coordinated attacks on 3 churches in Kurmin Wali community, Kaju local government area of Kaduna State, abducting more than 100 worshippers during Sunday services. Residents said the attackers, who arrived in large numbers, struck almost simultaneously, encircling worship centers and whisking away congregants. On Sunday, the assailants in large numbers attacked the Evangelical Church within all, a Catholic church, and the Seraphim and Cherubim Church, abducting dozens of worshippers. Although the actual number of those abducted is unclear, it is believed to be well over 100. A member of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Usman Danlami Stingo, confirmed the incident, adding that 9 of the victims managed to escape while they were being taken to the bush by the attackers. He noted that the community was conducting a head count to determine the exact number of people still in captivity. Troops of Operation Nadin Kai have cleared several terrorist camps and recovered equipment belonging to the insurgents in Borno State. Disclosing this in a statement on Monday, spokesman of a Joint Task Force Operation Nadin Kai, Sani Uba, said the troops recorded further operational successes in the ongoing Operation Desert Sanity. According to him, at about midday, the advancing troops came under armed drone attacks by the terrorists, adding that they, however, maintained the momentum and continued the offensive. According to him, a second attempt was in the evening, when the troops also decisively repelled, forcing the terrorists to withdraw. Lieutenant Colonel Uba said troops also repelled coordinated attacks by the insurgents in the Timbuktu Triangle. In Oyo State, the police command has commenced bush-combing operations in search of kidnappers of an Indian expatriate and other criminal elements in the state. The state police public relations officer, Olayinka Alayode, expressed concern over the resurgence of criminal activities in the state, noting that the command was reviewing its security architecture to curb the activities of kidnappers and other criminals across the 33 local government areas of Oyo State. Gunmen on Saturday killed a police officer and kidnapped an Indian expatriate at Ogumake community in the Oluyole local government area of the state. It was also recorded that suspected bandits had earlier invaded the National Park Service in Oloka community, Orire local government area, on Tuesday, January 6, killing 5 officers of the service. According to the police spokesperson, the incidents informed the decision of the command to review its security strategy and deploy more personnel to affected areas. Alayode said the command was working in collaboration with the Ogun and Lagos State Police Commands to ensure effective policing of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and border communities. The Osun State Police Command has confirmed the killing of Kazim Oyewole, a member of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, in Osun by suspected hoodlums. Confirming the incident, the command spokesperson, SP Abiodun Ojelabi, said the incident occurred around the Asoje Orita Elelede axis of Osogbo, where the assailant said to be based in the Asoje area, allegedly attacked two men riding on a motorcycle. The police later evacuated the body of the deceased as residents and shop owners fled the area for safety. Police operatives were later seen patrolling the area to prevent a possible reprisal attack and a breakdown of law and order. Residents have called for stakeholders in electricity generation and distribution to intervene in the poor state of electricity supply being witnessed in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. This comes as they lament how this has started affecting productivity and livelihood. Lydia Adegbaju has more on this.
Poor power supply is now the new sorry tale in town as residents in Osogbo, the state capital, bitterly lament how this is affecting their livelihoods. This comes as the state capital that used to boast of regular electricity supply has now been reduced to little or nothing. Mrs. Olasunkanmi Ojo, who stays around Agunbelewo area, says power was only restored after over 48 hours of no electricity. While Mr. Najim Agbola, a welder, says electricity supply is now beyond manageable.
It's getting worse every day. Like they have took the lights since last week Friday. They just restore it. Not quite long. It's not up to 1 hour, and we don't even have the hope. Maybe it will last till the night or till tomorrow. We don't know. Anytime they may take it. So the light is worst. If there is any other adjective that I can use.
Kò sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ náà yẹn torí kò dáa rárá, kì í ṣe pé ó manage àbí nǹkan kan. So even ẹni tó bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ lásìkò tí ò ní generator, tí ò ní nǹkan tí ó fi guide ara rẹ̀, yóò useless nínú ilé.
Artisans and entrepreneurs also lament how this poor state of power severely impacts productivity and sales. Mrs. Kudirat Ibrahim says she has resorted to manual labor owing to no electricity supply to run her machines. Miss Belisima, a fashion designer, also shared a similar experience.
Arena pump omi, that's for sure. Arena low washing machine. Ọwọ́ ni mo fi fọṣọ nísìn torí náà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ dé ni kò sí ná ọwọ́ la fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ lásìkò yìí iṣẹ́ tó bá dẹ̀ wà la fọwọ́ ṣe torí iṣẹ́ tí machine lè ṣe kọ́ lọ́wọ́ máa ṣe iṣẹ́ tó bá tọwọ́ bá lè ká la manage láti ṣe ká lọ́ṣọ kò ní síná láti lọ́ṣọ ọwọ́ nìkan la fi fọ kalẹ̀ owó dẹ̀ ni àwọn tí ò bá ti lọ́ṣọ hàn nígbàṣọ ibi pé à ń gbowó wọlé.
Of time, but it just comes and it just goes. But most of the time we do not have lights. Like in a day we can have like let's say 2 hours. Sometimes it stays longer. We do not meet up with customer orders because we need lights to work. Except we use our generator. So most of the time it makes our work slow. It won't make it neat because sometimes we'll be forced to use our manual machines and it cannot be as neat as the electric one. So it's not really helpful.
Even residents are not left out in the lamentations as Mr. Samson Adekola says he cannot stock up more than 2 days' groceries in his refrigerator so they do not spoil.
The situation of power supply now, at least, is very worst because under the last, we may not even experience any light in the another 72 hours. It's affecting us because we're supposed to buy and maybe buy at once and keep inside our refrigerator. We couldn't do that.
Residents recalled how the state capital used to boast of a stable electricity supply, one that resulted in the influx of settlers and artisans into the state capital, but now wonder where it all went wrong. The Chief Communications Officer of Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, IBEDC Osogbo, Mrs. Kikelomo Weye, who recently spoke to the matter in an interview, attributed it to low generation from the national grid.
Presently, we are having issues about low generation from the national grid, which is affecting all our franchise area, Ogun, Osun, Kwara, Ibadan, and Oyo region. So it's not something that is only within Osun alone. It's a general thing. So we can't go give what we do not have. So as it is now, if the generation is not generating up to capacity, there's nothing that DISCO can actually churn out to the customers. So it's a function of what we have that we can give. So due to the low power allocation that we're experiencing generally, that is what is affecting the bands all around across board.
Mrs. Oweye, however, noted that power supply would improve when power generation gets better. In the meantime, residents plead for concerned stakeholders to look into the matter, adding that they are willing to pay more for tariffs just so that power can be stable again.
Even if they are going to increase the tariff or increase the price of the lights, they can do that. But making everybody face the consequences of the light, maybe the money or so, is not really helpful at all. Even if it's to make it increase the price, I don't know if that's the reason why they are taking the lights all the time. Maybe because they feel we are not paying enough.
Lydia Adegbaju, Western Spring Television News.
Moving on, there was commotion at the entrance of the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja on Monday when protesting local contractors prevented the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Anita, from accessing the complex. The protesters, under the aegis of the All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria, blocked the gate of the ministry over debt owed by the federal government. When Uzoka Anita arrived at the entrance, security operatives attempted to create a pathway into the building for her, a move that was rejected by the demonstrators. Amid the scuffle, a gunshot was heard as security personnel attempted to disperse the protesters. The contractors had accused the federal government of refusing to pay them for projects executed. In the meantime, offices of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Federal Capital Development Authority were shut on Monday as workers commenced an indefinite strike. The decision to embark on industrial action was made by the Joint Union Action Committee over authorities' failure to address long-standing labor and welfare demands. The union said the industrial action will affect all secretariats, departments, agencies, area councils, and parastatals under the FCTA, effectively grounding government activities within the territory. Speaking with journalists while shutting down the offices on Monday, Vice President of JUAC, Musa Estefanos, aid the union's actions were in response to the administration's neglect of staff welfare. Estefanos cited several grievances, including a botched promotion exercise, non-payment of wage awards, and non-remittance of pensions. He said the strike will continue indefinitely until their demands are met. In other news, the Act Niger project has intensified grassroots sensitization across selected local government areas in Ekiti State to educate residents on the social protection programs available to residents of the state. This community outreach themed empowering communities through awareness, strengthening access and feedback from improved social protection programs in Ekiti State follows a recent state dialogue aimed at deepening awareness and gathering feedback directly from beneficiaries. According to the state program officer for the new initiative for social development under the Act Nigeria project, Rachel Oluri, the outreach targets men, women, youths, and persons with disabilities, helping them understand the social investment initiatives they can access. The engagement was also used as a feedback mechanism to get responses from the beneficiaries about the programs they benefited from and the programs their families are benefiting from. Ms. Olori said representatives from relevant state ministries attended the outreach to explain their programs, answer questions, and provide guidance.
We want to tell people this is what and what you can benefit from the government, from this ministry, from that ministry, and how you qualify for it. And for those that have benefited here, we want to hear your experience. How did you access it? How were you able to get access to this program, to this benefit? How has it changed your life? How can the government do more? Or how can we intercede and do more for the people? How the recommendations from you as well. So that is basically what we are doing here today. And the people here present have been selected from different categories: women, men, youth, and people.
Well, it is a very good awareness because it will educate the people. By our community, we are doing farming work to like the family officer has said, at least if the government will continue to assist people financially, agree with people would like to cultivate family, they do family work.
The President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongban-Mensem, on Monday announced that 360 appeals have been listed for hearing during the special one-week court session in Lagos. A special sitting which brings together 40 justices sitting in 16 panels from different divisions across the country is part of activities marking the court's 50th anniversary. Justice Dongban-Mensem said the initiative demonstrates the court's commitment to improving efficiency in the administration of justice, noting that Lagos bears a heavy burden of appellate litigation. She urged lawyers and litigants to ensure their cases are ripe for hearing, warning that the exercise should not be treated casually. Justice Dongban-Mensem further urged the media and the public to support the judiciary by promoting accurate reporting and public confidence. Speaking on behalf of the Bar Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ebonu Adegborua praised the initiative and assured the Court of Lawyers cooperation. Adegborua also called for better funding and improved infrastructure for the judiciary, describing adequate support as essential to effective justice delivery. The National Human Rights Commission says it received 3,019 complaints between January and December 2025 in Kano State. In an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria, NHRC State Coordinator Shehu Abdullahi said out of the 3,019 cases received, 2,276 have been completed, while 743 are still ongoing. He said most of the complaints bordered on child abandonment, child rights violations, domestic violence, the right to life, as well as cultural, economic, and social rights issues. The coordinator added that other cases involved law enforcement abuses, sexual and gender-based violence, and neglect of parental responsibilities, among others. Governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in the 2026 governorship elections, Najim Salam, has expressed confidence in the party's ability to emerge victorious at the polls, describing his acceptance as massive. Mr. Salam, a former Osun State House of Assembly Speaker, spoke in an interview with WSTV News today. He noted that he was unbothered by the strength of his opponents, including what he referred to as federal might or power of incumbency. Mr. Salam, who insisted that he would not tarnish the image of other contestants, promised good governance, welfare of the workers, agricultural improvement, and security if elected governor in August 2026. Mr. Salam will contest against the incumbent governor Ademola Adeleke and the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Oyebamiji, who are expected to be the leading contenders in the 2026 Osun governorship election.
We are not God. This is our time that God has ordained for us, and we're going to take that for us. So it is God that is doing the job, not us. So maybe the incumbent, they will have power, federal might, and other thing. That is their own palaver. The word of God will not go without being fulfilled. This is our time, and we are going to win the election also. Because I believe they are not God. I have my faith in God. I so much believe that God will do wonder, and the people also will be surprised what will come to play in the election period. It depends on the assessment, on the yardstick, the indices that they use for the assessment. And I'm not here to do that for now. We campaign, I will tell the people of Osun what I want to do, not destroying anybody. I want my people, that is not my way. Campaign about my program, let people know what I can do. Of course, we've been tested and they know that they can trust us.
The Nigerian Army has dismissed reports alleging threats of mutiny by soldiers over salaries and allowances, describing the claims as false, misleading, and deliberately sensational. The Army reacted to an online publication which alleged that soldiers were threatening mutiny due to welfare concerns. The report, it said, was aimed at undermining public confidence and national security. In a statement on its official X handle, issued on Monday and signed by the acting director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Apollonia Anele, the Army said at no time has there been any threat of mutiny within the Nigerian Army. The statement added that mutiny remained a grave offense under military law and was incompatible with the values of the institution. Clarifying issues around remuneration, the Army said promotion increments should not be misrepresented as total earnings. It added that military pay included consolidated salaries, rank-based allowances, operational allowances, field and hardship allowances, and other entitlements that vary by deployment, qualification, and responsibilities. The Army said it was working with relevant authorities to improve troop welfare. In Lagos State, a diesel-laden tanker has overturned on the Tinkan-Liverpool Bridge in the Apapa area of Lagos, with hordes of residents and passersby scooping the inflammable product from beneath the bridge. Eyewitnesses say the tanker tipped over in the early hours of Monday during rush hour, with road traffic management personnel yet to arrive at the scene at the time of reporting. In a post on X, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, said road leading to the bridge had been cordoned off but has not been reopened. This is not the first time residents will be scooping fuel from a falling tanker in Nigeria, with sometimes fatal consequences to boot. In October 2024, over 100 people were confirmed dead after a petrol-laden tanker exploded at the Kano-Adegia Expressway in Jigawa State. The federal government has unveiled a new national housing strategy anchored on land reform, urban renewal, and public-private partnerships to address Nigeria's growing housing deficit. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, disclosed these on Monday in Lorry during the 14th National Council on Lands, Housing and Urban Development meeting. Speaking through the Director of Planning, Research and Statistics in the Ministry, Alhaji Mukhtar Ilyasu, Dangiwa said Nigeria's housing deficit, estimated in the tens of millions, remains one of the country's most pressing socio-economic challenges. He attributed the housing crisis to rapid urbanization, population growth, rising construction costs, and weak land administration systems. Dangiwa added that the policy would guide housing delivery, land administration, and urban development planning in the coming years, noting that land management remains the foundation for expanding access to affordable housing nationwide. He explained that urban renewal and regeneration have now been adopted as national policy tools to modernize cities, address uncontrolled urban growth, and respond to population pressure and climate-related challenges. The federal government has announced the commencement of applications for the 2026 Petroleum Technology Development Fund Overseas Scholarship Scheme, providing opportunities for Nigerian postgraduate students to study in the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Malaysia. This was confirmed in a post shared via X by the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun, on Monday. According to the statement on Scholarship Board website, the scheme targets MSc and PhD candidates in disciplines relevant to the oil and gas sector, offering benefits such as tuition, return flight tickets, accommodation and living allowances, health insurance, and bench fees where applicable. The agency emphasized that the scholarships are highly competitive and that only candidates who demonstrate outstanding merit and suitability will be considered. It was also added that applicants will be evaluated based on academic credentials, research proposals, membership in professional bodies, and the relevance of their studies to the oil and gas industry. In the meantime, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has warned candidates against misuse of the national identification numbers ahead of the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination registration exercise. The registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, issued a warning during an interactive meeting with the board's management held in preparation for the sale of application forms and registration for the 2026 UTME and direct entry exams. He warned the applicants against multiple or double registrations, coupled with the use of multiple national identification numbers by a single candidate for the purpose of double registration, impersonation, or any form of identity manipulation. He also cautioned candidates against impersonation, extortion, image blending, group registration, inappropriate movement of routers, donating fingerprints, and other irregularities that undermine the integrity of the examination.
Very good. Not only to stem the tide of strike. I disagree with incessant. Just strike. Okay. Yes, I don't consider it incessant, but not to reduce, but to build that passion we're talking about. If you are in academics now.
The Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Transportation, Daura, Professor Umar Kaseyal, has described the recent agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, as a step that will boost academic performance across Nigerian tertiary institutions. Professor Kaseyal made this known in an interview with Western Spring Television News while reacting to the conclusion of a renegotiation process that began in 2017 to review the 2009 FG ASU Pact, which was due for revision in 2012. According to Professor Kaseyal, the agreement will encourage university lecturers to deliver more effectively, double the output of students, and reduce incessant strikes. Under the new structure, full-time professors receive 1.74 million naira annually, while readers will earn 840,000 naira per annum, an intervention described by the government as a structural and transformative measure to recognize experience, enhance dignity, and strengthen the academic profession.
It's very good. Not only to stem the tide of strike. I disagree with incessant. Just strike. Okay. Yes, I don't consider it incessant, but not to reduce, but to build that passion we're talking about. If you are in academics now, the younger ones, they are more or less looking for meal ticket. And this is unfortunate. Because those things while we are in universities, whereby you see today, it's weekend, whereby you see people from far and near go to those universities, like EBU, to listen to lectures. Those people in social sciences, giving Marxist concept and whatever. Now, even not only the students, even the lecturers, they don't have that passion. So I believe this agreement definitely will increase the tempo of academics to do their work very well, and which, interestingly, in the end, it will.
Still to come, Kano State government takes over prosecution of case involving the killing of a housewife and her 6 children. We'll bring you more on this when we return.